Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I am going to be tackling a container of odds and ends, bits and pieces, things I've started, things I've set aside to work on, things that I've abandoned. And I have to say, it's a direct result of me trying to get ready to be a guest seller on Angela, the Traveling Crafters, April 11th live sale. And the analogy I make is that it's a little bit like working in this craft space is a bit like tackling home renovations. One day you think to yourself, I'm going to paint the entrance because that's the part that is exposed to the most wear and tear, and maybe the paint job is old or looking a bit shabby. So you get the paint and you paint that. And then you realize that that one simple action has had a domino effect. That freshening up makes everything else around it look shabby. So then, well, if you're gonna do the entrance, what about the hallway that leads to the rest of the house? Or if you've decided to paint or bought a new, maybe you're doing the whole house, painting the whole house, and then you realize, oh my goodness, that flooring is starting to look a bit whatever. And then it takes on a life of its own. And I know that you have experienced that. Well, if we have the walls ripped up anyway, because you're, adding some electrical outlets or whatever, we might as well do the whatever. So that's just my way of saying that everything I've touched has led to 6 more jobs. And as I try to rationalize what I have and sort it and store it in a way that makes efficient and attractive sense, I'm trying to get to some of these containers because, I've got no shortage of containers. I've got these acrylic ones. I've got baskets. I've got boxes. I've got, you name it, I have it. And every one is almost like a mystery box. And it may have served a temporary purpose in that, yeah, it cleared off my surface. But unless you go back and revisit and finish some of these things, or what I like to call file them, in other words, put them back where they belong, you end up with, or I end up, well, I shouldn't assume that you're like me, I end up with containers of stuff. So I'm going to start with this one because it has been, okay, no real goal here today other than I'm going to randomly pick things out of this bin and just deal with them. So this is actually a secondhand, a used envelope. I've covered my mat here, but let's just see. I hope it's the right size because I've been known to cover envelope. Okay, 9 by 12. I've been known to cover envelopes and then realize, oh, that's not a real size. That's not a legitimate size. So this I collaged a long time ago. This was like a full page. I can't ever imagine doing a mermaid journal, but I love this book for its illustrations, its borders. And these, well, you probably can't tell, but all of these on this side, on the back cover, these are all small pieces that I've just pulled together. So, because I'm putting together some fabric bundles for the 11th, I've been looking at and rediscovering fabrics in all sizes from, a 6x6 or 5x5 to yard goods. So I thought I saw something that looked like it might work on the inside. I haven't found it yet, and it may not have been big enough, and that's what I'm telling myself. Anyway, I did find this. Now, clearly, it's not enough to cover this inside, but it sure looks like waves to me. So obviously now I will keep this with this project so that it does get used at some point. Now this maybe isn't the greatest choice. However, it would have been easier to work with than the one I settled on. But hey, I'm a brave soul. So what I found, I used to wear this top. Now, it's got some stretch in it. I don't know if it stretches both ways. So I realized that at some point I must have taken a sleeve off because there was a sleeve missing. Oh, I'll also give you another tip. Yesterday I was watching videos and I watched a few from K3N Cloth Tales. And one of the ones I watched was salvaging, well, I guess it was called, I think, yeah, salvaging fabric from clothing or something. And one of the things I learned from her was, and something opposite of what I was doing. Okay, so anything, you know, any finished garment, of course, has a hem on it. So what she does, like sometimes I would open up the hem and then I'd get an extra ½ inch of fabric. Crazy. What she does is she just cuts along that stitching line. You can see I didn't do a particularly good job, but you end up with a good length, or several. This is around a sleeve, obviously a cuff, or yeah. You end up with these pieces that can end up being ties on journals. Or the other thing I gather she does, instead of using an elastic, which often, as we know, dries up and breaks, she would use bits like this. Well, this isn't long enough, but say a longer piece to tie around a bundle of something. So if she was trying to group fabrics together or whatever, she would use a fabric tie, which I'm sure is more aesthetic looking than an elastic and certainly not going to break. So I thought that this would be fine because it sort of looks like waves. However, it is going to be a trick to make this work. What I intend to do, because this is going to be harder, obviously, than fabric with, you know, that holds its shape, is I intend to tack it down, especially in the middle, probably stretch it a bit to reach the edges. And if these corners end up being, you know, if I don't have enough if I can't make it work without really distorting the pattern, then I'm not going to worry about it because that could easily be disguised with a pocket or another piece of fabric or whatever. So, which is the heavier one? This one is the one I've started. So all I'm going to do is slather down some glue basically in the middle. I wonder, I should maybe bring some, get some clips ready too, because I'm sure I'm going to have to, I don't have enough hands to hold and stretch and glue and all of that. So I could have used some bigger ones, I guess. I'm thinking it's going to need some help until it sort of grabs. Now, I could have used something better than a glue stick, but then there's always the issue of bleeding. So, let's see how we make out. I hope that I'm filming this on a Sunday. Whoopsie. Filming this on Sunday because, of course, all the taping I did before my Manitoba trip, you know, has long since gone, or has, you know, has come and gone. So I'm kind of just I'm probably about, I'm sure you can't see that, but I'm probably about 1/2 inch away from the edge. And once this, looks half decent and is holding somewhat and has a chance to dry, I will sew around the edge. So I think maybe I'll just do it this way, then I can. So this is a somewhat straight edge. Another thing I could do, I guess, if worst came to worst, is, I guess I shouldn't stretch it where I don't need to, because then it does distort the pattern a bit. Probably should have just put glue on half at a time. See, I'm gonna keep lifting it up until there's no more stickiness left. Okay, so I'm just oh, well, that's good. Now we know that my elbow can stick to it. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about how the edge looks, because I could, if there was a smidge of white showing, I could ink it. Plus, if I zigzag, that will, sort of enclose that end as well. So let's pull this a little further. Oh, see, now it looks like I've got enough to do 2 cover. Well, not quite, but you know what I mean. Well, that worked better than I thought, she said with surprise in her voice. I think I'm just going to tug a little more this way then. Oops. Maybe I'm going to reapply some glue here. Ay, ay, ay. So I hope that this video finds you well, that you are, a little bump here, that you are doing something that you love, which I can only imagine would be in a craft room, and that the weather is doing what it's supposed to in your area. Goodness knows spring can't seem to make up its mind around here. We are going to, unless there's some serious rain, we are going to be in a very critical condition, drought-wise. And that, of course, is not good if you're a farmer, because by the time you've worked your land, do a couple operations in spring to prepare the soil, any ground moisture that was there, has been sort of exposed to the air and begins to dry and evaporate and so on. So, and of course, whether you're planting a pot of flowers, a vegetable garden, or a whole field of grain, you need soil moisture levels sufficient to have the seeds germinate. So it is a serious issue. In fact, and I never thought I'd live to see the day, my husband said to me the other day, I think I should give up this particular quarter of land that we have been renting for, I don't know, 15 years maybe or more. And I guess I really almost don't need these clips, but since I threw them all over the desk, I might as well put some down. Maybe I should trim some of this off, make it a little easier. Anyway, so he let the landowner know he had already sort of talked to another young farmer, you know, a generational thing where there's several grown boys, men, that have committed to farming, and they're interested. So we sort of connected the two parties, and I have to say, part of me is not disappointed. You know that I become pretty MIA in fall because I do run a combine. We will, through this, save fuel, time, and input costs. So I kind of fear for the farming community, to be honest, because not everybody, you know, if you've got a big debt load and if you're making payments on your $1.5 million combine, you can't really afford to not seed. But can you afford to seed? Anyway, I'm just going to set this aside. As I said, this will now sit, dry, and then I can take this. This becomes then a sewing project. Can get rid of this blue fabric. Okay, let's see what else we have here. I have a few of these things. This one was easy to get at because it doesn't fit properly. It's been sticking out here. Where are the others? Oh, I think it was during the 100-day project that I did, again, what is perhaps almost a new style of collage for me, in that these are all pictures from art books. And you can see same blue colorway. Excuse me. So what I had done was basically, instead of collaging where you're overlapping and so on, and maybe using torn shapes, excuse me, you know, it was all rectangles and squares, straight lines. So let me just pull out a ruler and see what we're dealing with size-wise. Now this in itself, okay, this is 10 inches. So this, I think, can stay as it is, because this could be, it reads the right way. This could be a belly band in a tall skinny, so we'll leave that as that. This could clearly be, okay, looks like I've got things going in two directions here, but that's okay. Oh, and look at me, so clever. I already backed it with some used ledger. So let's just reach for the corner rounder. Now in this basket, I do have some stuff, you know, nearby, but I don't have a whole assortment of lace and ribbon and all of that, because that becomes a whole other thing. I do have my slot punch, which I love. So why don't I just put, now I need a centering ruler. Okay, if you haven't seen this, I will say it. I'll show you again, or I'll show you for the first time, I guess. A centering ruler has the center marked, and it has measurements going out in either direction. So rather than eyeball it and be slightly off, which annoys me, I use a ruler. And the whole point to this is that you sort of move it back and forth until the measurement on either side matches. So it looks like it's 2 1/8. 2 1/8. Well, it turns out it's pretty well on this red line. So I just make a mark and then center whatever it is that I'm using. And that is the top. And then don't have any issue with it being crooked. Now, I probably don't have anything right at the moment. I've got some bit of this, but that's kind of in your face. Would any of this stuff work? This was something. Why don't we just stick this in there? I might even have enough to do the old loop-de-loop. So I think sometimes there's just a lot of satisfaction in tackling things that have been almost like skeletons in the closet. That's pretty thick, but that's okay. It seems like with the slotted hole, it can work. So I do have some sentiments nearby. Can't remember. This is a digital that I bought from somebody. And you could buy it in different colorways. So obviously there was the blue. I need something fairly bold to stand out against. Here's a navy thing. And, you know, kind of a classic arrangement is just to put, oh, I could put something as big as that. Do I want to turn that into a tuck spot, though? I didn't bring this over. Okay, if I did that, why don't I just glue it down instead of dithering? Well, this is only printed on copy paper, so it's not going to be the most rigid thing in the world. Now I could add something smaller. And all of a sudden it looks like, oh, she had a plan. Or do I want that? Maybe that's better. Just get rid of these. And then all of a sudden, something like this can now go into the area where I keep things that are completed or close to completed. That seems lost on there. That little bit of solid, yeah, I think that's better, grounds it a bit more. So I'll just quickly, and again, you know, any of these things that you see, I'm sure that you see definitely on my channel and certainly on other people's channels, is just basically ideas, suggestions. And quite often, people are, or most of the time, people are cognizant of how long videos take, how much valuable information is being shared and how much is just same old, seen it a million times, blah, blah, blah. So the point I'm trying to make is that there is no limit. Like a person could spend an entire video decorating one thing, but does that make any sense to anybody? I don't think so. Why don't we put something in that little... That way we remember it's a pocket. And you know what I'm talking about. It could be lace, it could be fabric, it could be stitching, it could be, adding napkins or whatever. But sometimes you just have to say, enough, enough, enough. Put that one aside. Okay. Now we've said this will be a belly band. This is a tag. Now how long, pray tell? So this is close to 14 inches by 5. I should pull up my longer ruler. Did I tell you I have a ruler collection, or have you guessed as much? Need my sharing ruler too. Yoy, sorry for all the commotion. I'm just trying to, I'll tell you what I'm thinking here. 13.5. So half of that would be about 6 3/4. I feel like these would make a couple cute journal covers. So what I'm going to do on the side where it's a little easier to see is make a mark for 6 3/4. And I hope that that is half, because, we're relying on math here. Pull out my new favorite tool, my new favorite toy, and find the mark, cut it, and then know that some of the pages that I have pre-folded as little signatures now have a place that they could be embedded. Now, I could be making a mistake. Now, see, this is one solid line there. It feels like it wants to fold there, but I guess it could also be that. It could just be a page wraparound, since it wants to fold there anyway. What's happening with this one? You know what? I think I better get my scoreboard, because I have a hunch something's going to go wrong there. Now, one thing is surprising, a person, I've been doing this for a while. I, kind of think I'm a fairly smart cookie, try to learn things the first time I see them. But it is amazing to me how, now we need the center again. Amazing to me, 3.5, not quite, 3 3/8. 3 3/8. How sometimes I've done some things that are kind of dumb. I'm going to do both of these. And I guess if they need some reinforcement at some point, they'll have to get it. And what I'm trying to get at here is scoring. I have cracked paper because I thought I could just fold it instead of scoring it first. I have, you know, depending on the type of paper, I've also, you know, broken right through it. And there's really no need for that. What I heard someone say the other day is that you're far better off, and I'm sure everybody knows this except me, you're far better off going gently a few times than really, you know, putting all your pressure on the first time. So I think that these will just be, you know, just have a few little pages. So they'd be like a little notebook within a, probably a bigger journal. So in that case, I'm just going to score gently. Oh, see, that wanted to tear through. Oh, and the reason is because there's that there. You see how that's opening up? And sometimes you can't avoid cracking anyway. So this is one of those things that probably will need to be reinforced with, you know, washi or a strip of fabric or something. That is darn cute, if I do say so myself. The reason I was hesitating is because I thought if it's going to be an actual little journal cover, maybe I'll do this one differently. So I've made, okay, first of all, I just made these marks along this the 6-inch line, just so that it's easier to see. What I'm going to do in this case, I'm lining up my mark with that 6-inch mark there, but I'm going to go on either side of that, which means I'm going to be making a teeny tiny little spine, which means that it's going to take smaller papers because now I've effectively shortened the size, I mean the width of the front and back covers. But I will have a cute little spine for my troubles. Again, trying to be somewhat gentle. And you know, I probably, who knows, I did this ages ago, a year ago. So that's what we have. And you can see that this one is narrower. And it did crack despite my gentle touch. These things will need, yeah, that wants to, Anyway, I'm talking and thinking at the same time. So I don't have at the ready any little pages ready to go, and you surely do not need to see me choose paper and fold them. So, but that will be the intention here. And where I need to reinforce, I will. But I think those are going to be so cute. And they could go wherever these two things go. So let's clip these. I just love using paper clips. Let's clip these things together. So you can see, making some progress, but I've also just created 2 more things that I need to do. And such is our lives. Let me just put this down beside me and see what else we can fish out of here. Oh, okay, this was now this might have been Graphics Fairy. So they, oh, what am I doing with this? Is that maybe page edging? We're going to call that page edging. Graphics vary, and that would have been a printable that was washi tape. So what I did was cut all the strips and then wove them like we did in, you know, grade 1 or 2 or whatever you did, whenever we did stuff like that. But then I also stitched it to keep it squared up and to have the have some stability to it. And you know what I could do, but again, how many more journal covers do I need? I could just back this and okay, what do I have? What do I have? What do I have? Well, I don't need that big a piece. Oh, you know what? I have, mind you, this could be too brittle. Too small. I have this thing beside me. Oh, that's like cardstock. On the back of this, I can't show you because it's got some people's names on it. That's the marriage statement. So when I marry somebody, I print one of these, and it's got this to certify that on such and such a date, at such and such a place in the province of Alberta, so-and-so of wherever, and so-and-so of wherever were lawfully joined in matrimony in the presence of, and then name the two witnesses, my name, my signature, my number, and the marriage license number. Anyway, you know, you can't make a boo-boo on that. So, if you misspell or if your printing is kind of awful that day, then that is not a good thing. I'm just going to use this again, I guess. Can I turn this over without you? I should butt it up to one end and then I'll have a more usable scrap. Sorry for being so... Maybe I'll just go a bit off camera for a second. I can't let you see the names. Although by the time a marriage has taken place, I guess it is a matter of public record. But I don't know if I've gotten that as good as it needs to be, but we'll at least begin here. I was going to say I could leave a little bit of a mat, but that would not work because on that side there'd be that blue showing. So now I can get in and get to the corners that didn't get anything or enough. Whoa! Sometimes when I'm feeling particularly frugal, I use this part too, a little nubbin. And I think, again, just for security's sake, I will stitch around this just to make sure it all holds together. Throw that guy away. Did I say welcome? I think I will just use good old-fashioned scissors. I sure seem to have a blue thing going here today. So I'm just cutting as close as I reasonably can, hopefully without cutting through any of that stitching. Now that's another scrap created. Yay. Oh, I think I'm cutting through some thread there. So I hope that this inspires you to, well, unless your life is in far better order than mine. If you have started, abandoned, good intentions piled up in wherever you keep your things like that, I hope that this sort of makes you want to tackle your little to-do pile. Now, I'm not going to try folding this just yet. I will add this to my mermaid sewing project. And it is kind of good when a person, kind of works in a particular color family, because then, you know, you're not, unless you always use neutral thread, then you're not having to change thread and bobbin as often. And I kind of go through phases where sometimes I want it really neutral, and then other times I'm thinking, well, I've got millions of spools of thread in every color under the sun. Why am I not using it? So then I color coordinate it to the project. Okay, so these two things are waiting to be sewn. And then this I will score. Let's see what we're talking about size-wise here. Hopefully the half is not right on a seam. 3.5, of course it would be right about there. I'll probably end up doing a tiny little spine there. And again, it doesn't mean that it becomes a real, you know, bona fide journal. It just means that there will be more ease in making the pages fit properly. I have a bunch of these that I've avocado dyed. Do not have a plan for them yet, so they will stay here for the time being. I've got the vestiges of I don't even know what year this is. The George O'Keeffe calendar, 2000. I took out the poppies, of course. Oh, well, I can fussy cut these. These are almost inchies, so I'll do that. Look at more blue. So essentially, you're probably not really seeing anything very earth-shattering here today, but we are spending some time together and making a bit of headway here. Now, again, let me use this. See, I don't know how many hours, man hours, woman hours. Oh, you know what? I could try to aim for a little white mat around. No. Yes. I was going to say I should back it first because I don't really want that. I could cut it again once it's matted. I mean, once I have backing on it. I was just thinking that if my eye serves me, I should be able to get those little borders pretty even. Oh, wider. So much for that theory. I could also, that's a ragged edge to be putting up there. That will throw me off square. I could also just be doing this more roughly and doing the trimming after it's backed. You know, that way you're not putting glue, wasting glue on areas that don't matter. I guess I've seen worse. That's the new standard. I've seen worse. Oh my goodness. Oh, I almost cut two at a time. Going a bit wide there. So these make good journaling cards. 4 1/8 by 6 1/4. Whoops, that's not a cut edge. What am I trying to do here? So again, back to what I said earlier, when it comes time to decorate these, will they have a little... See, another thing I could do here, and why don't I? Fold along. Maybe I'll fold it this way so I can see what I'm doing. I've got that calendar, those calendar lines there, which should be a straight line. All of a sudden, got a page flip or something that could be sewn in, you know, sewn in there. So you can change horses in midstream is the lesson for today. Okay, I don't know, you must be enthralled at watching me cut. Do I want to do the same here? That might be an idea. So we'll just cut a bit at the top. And by leaving a wider margin, a person has the option of, you know, your decorations, however you embellish it, you have a chance to sort of extend beyond the... Now, because I did that one on the left side, let's do this on the right side. So let's trim this side. I find that as a right-handed person, I'm usually doing the impulses to do things a certain way. So I'll fold that in a second. Don't care for this. Maybe we'll put that aside, let that be collage fodder. This is sweet. Georgia O'Keeffe, of course, was, and I mean, I don't know if she was criticized at the time, but certainly people have commented on the sexual nature of her images. I guess maybe sometimes we see what we're looking for, but that could be another page flip. In fact, that one could quite easily work in one of my 15 blush journals. That's another reason that I'm trying to sort of clear the decks, is because I have so much of that stuff. It almost looks like I have to do a blue project of some sort. I have so much stuff spread all over the place. I haven't done a video, a progress video. I haven't worked on it or done a progress video for a long time. And I need to get on with it. Oh, I really wasn't planning to make this announcement today. And maybe I will do a more formal announcement. But I am seriously considering, and this only came to me this morning, seriously considering, that doesn't look straight at all, reducing the number of videos I do per week. As much as I love doing them, and as much as I love this time with you, it is extremely, well, no, let me strike the word extremely. It is time consuming, but hey, that's fine. Certainly not to the extent that the people who edit their videos spend. But there is all the prep and then the follow-up and so on. It's not that. It's not that I'm, going to be sunning myself or something. Still working just as hard as ever. But I think it would allow me time to do some of the extras that I want to do. I have been buying materials that qualify to be digitized, but unless you have some time to actually do the work, it's nothing more than an expensive collection of books and materials. And let's see, I can only afford about that much space. It is nothing more than a dream. So I need time to do that. I think I also need maybe a bit more time spent on social media. I must say that I would rather, and I could have never predicted this, but I would much rather make a video than do all that stuff on social media. However, okay, now what are these going to be? They're a wee bit, well, I want the poppies, so maybe I have to, and I want that sunflower. Okay, maybe, I was going to say, could they be a belly band? Too wide that way, too short that way. So let me cut them off, cut them in columns. So anyway, I'm still toying around with what makes the most sense in terms of timing. Part of me thinks, well, some of the big names, with the 100,000 subscribers or more, they're not doing daily videos. Oh, and the other thing it would give me time to do is actually finish some journals. Like, I've got millions of journals started. Some you're aware of, some you don't even have an inkling about. If, in fact, the whole point of this... I didn't mean to do that. Oh, crumb. I was going to leave these two center rows together to have a cute little... Oh, well. That's what you get for talking and doing at the same time. Walking and chewing gum. Anyway, these are more... These look closer to something than they did when they were just part of a partial calendar. Okay, what did I say I was doing? Oh, I was going to fold these two. So yeah, if I spent some time actually working on journals, imagine there'd be some journals out there in the world. Okay, so we have a few of those. So yeah, I guess watch for that. I'll figure out how and when and what, and probably do like an announcement video. But okay, let me show you what we have here. So that, those all need to be backed. Boy, that's not very... Oh, I was going to say, I folded it against the line, but clearly I didn't because it doesn't look straight. Better. Okay, these become flips. So I guess I worry about covering them at a future date when they actually get used. These, I'm not going to make you watch that. I said I didn't like that one. Okay, so we can put this aside. Mind you. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, that is going in the blush journal. Actually, any of these could, or all of these could. Mind you, this would go in a blue thing. Okay, I will back those after you're gone. You don't need to watch that. I'm protecting you from that. Okay, what else have we got? Oh, look, I've got some paint swatches. Now, what are these going to become? Oh, you know what? And I've got some rub-ons. And you know how I feel about these bloody rub-ons. And again, I've said it before, you know, just as a don't shoot the messenger kind of thing. Maybe they work so poorly because they're not fresh. But I was thinking they might look really cute if they work against a solid looky there. Okay, what I'm going to do, I can't believe how often I reach for this cutter now that I have awoken to its benefits. Okay, just past those flowers. Probably doesn't hurt. It helped to abuse these things. Okay. This kind of feels almost sticky, so maybe it bodes well. So I'm going to, where's my little popsicle stick? How about a Dixie cup spoon? Sorry, guys. Okay. Now, I think to avoid am I going to try this without, I think I better clip this on. Just so it sort of stays where my intentions are. It kind of raises it up. Now, I don't know. This is just brown paper on my regular. Let's go for it. My goodness, it worked. I think this is going to, you know, there's something about that blue-white combination. I don't know if it makes me think of, you know, Delft China or some of those Asian, you know, Ming vases kind of thing or what, but so maybe the solution, watch me become a believer right here in front of your very eyes. Maybe the solution is never to buy these things thrifted. And maybe I should stop talking about it. Oh, there's a little piece missing in that petal. Stop talking about it and just not jinx this. Okay, let's peek. Oh, I was wondering what the heck is that, but that's the little bear from Bear Paint. I hope you guys are, whoops, holding your breath. Looks like I missed those petals there, or leaves, or whatever the heck they are. Oh, that is beautiful. Okay, move the clamps over, carry on. And of course, I'm not going to make you watch the rest of this. I have several sheets here. Okay, this is the part I cut off. More of the same. Why are these? There's another. Yeah, definitely thrifted. Okay. I'm not going to make you watch this for sure. Oh, there was a popsicle stick. I'll finish this one, and then you can be assured that I will do the others. I'll find other paint chips. Maybe I can find kind of a blushy pink one. Maybe I can find a purple one. And that way, at least what I'm doing is advancing some of those projects that... Now, to be honest, I don't know how, because I've never successfully done rub-ons before, or not to this extent anyway. I don't know how fragile versus durable they are once they are, you know, rubbed on. So if a person has to just baby them because they're so delicate, that would be disappointing. But maybe there's a way to protect that as well. Another thing that I've been doing, talk about a little bit of insanity. If I buy something, whether it's new or thrifted, it's got packaging. And because so much of what we buy is, you know, flat and paper and so on, they are those flat, they tend to be the, what is it, acetate, or, yeah, I guess acetate, kind of. Anyway, unless it's really gross, like, you know, scratched and dirty because it's been around for 100 years, I tend to save them thinking, oh, I'm going to reuse them. You know, there are ideas that you can use with, there's a little break in that design there. Oh, some of the dots didn't transfer. A lot of the dots didn't transfer. So it's become, you know, they've taken on a life of their own. The other day when I was fed up, I thought, I'm throwing the whole darn works away and I will start fresh. And I'll be, you know, if something has 14 price tags on it, out it goes. And, but of course I didn't do that. Instead, I'm going to use precious man hours to sort. Oh, brother, why are these dots so difficult? Still can't get them. Oh, and I didn't get this whole... Oh, see, this is what kind of annoys me. Can I reposition that? Or do I have to put something over that? See, it's kind of got a wave in it now. A little dot missing there. Okay, I would say that's as good as it's going to get. which is pretty darn cool. I'm throwing away that row of dots. So, I don't know if having, like, putting some acetate over this after it's decorated. Mind you, it's pretty flat to the touch. Oh, you know what? I think, did I hear somewhere, are you supposed to, I was going to say, are you supposed to burnish it? But that's what I've been doing all along, is burnishing it. I don't know. If you know the answer, text it or put it in the comments, please. How, one little dot. Now I could leave the top the way it is and the bottom, or I could square it off. But yeah, I'm happy with that. So you know what I'll be doing for the rest of the day. So I'll put those guys aside, but we can put that one there as proof of some progress. And let me check the time. Oh dear, it's an hour. Anyway, I have to stop here. Thank you for joining me. Didn't make a great deal of progress on this. However, oh, these are easy. These are little notepads that I made up with a variety of papers. So I will just carry on here while the video is uploading and put some kind of toppers on these things. And that will get rid of a lot of stuff in there. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I appreciate your presence. I hope that through this mixed bag of stuff that you got some ideas for some things that you could do in your room, in your life. Yeah, there's a definite blue theme going on here today. So, as much as I think I've made some progress, I also have a whole bunch of work yet to do. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.